So, what does it really take to win a private jet? Today, we're going to break down how one of the biggest YouTubers on the planet, Mr. Beast, designed this insane competition to find out. We're talking about pushing 100 people to their absolute limits, testing their strength, their strategy, and their sheer will to win.
All right, first things first, let's talk about the stakes. The prize here wasn't just some cash or a fancy trophy. No, it was a $2.4 million private jet. I mean, that's the kind of prize that gets people to do just about anything to win, right?
So yeah, that was the prize, but of course there was a catch. To win it, you had to beat 99 other pilots. So there's your setup. 100 people, one absolutely life-changing prize. It's basically a giant battle royale, and it's designed to test them in every single way you can think of.
Okay, so the competition kicked off with a pretty simple goal. Weed out the weak and do it as fast as possible. This whole first part was all about raw, brute force. The very first test was just this incredible feat of teamwork. They split all 100 pilots into 3 teams, and their job was to pull a 40,000-pound airplane across a finish line. Think about that. Only one team would make it. So just like that, in one challenge, bam, 2/3 of the competition was gone. After that, the game shifted completely. It went from group strength to pure individual endurance. And get this, the prize itself, the jet, actually became the obstacle. They literally turned on the engines and blasted the remaining contestants with 60-mile-an-hour winds. And this jet spinner, as they called it, was just brutally effective. It knocked out another 15 pilots. I mean, the force was so intense that even a former NFL player, a guy you'd expect to be solid as a rock, he couldn't even hold on. Yeah, this quote really tells you everything you need to know about the power they were facing. One guy said, "It just hit me in the chest. I couldn't catch up from there." You can just feel that, can't you? It wasn't about skill at this point. It was just about surviving a full-on physical assault. So after they just got rid of almost everyone with pure physical challenges, the competition throws this massive curveball. With only a handful of pilots left, they take them 10,000 feet up in the air. Suddenly, being strong means absolutely nothing. This part, it's all about mind games. The setup here is basically a classic prisoner's dilemma, but with a parachute, which is wild. You've got 2 pilots and 1 briefcase. One person knows what's inside, either a jump pass to the next round or an eliminate notice. The other person has to make a choice. Do you trust the guy who says it's safe to jump, or do you steal the briefcase for yourself? It's this amazing test of trust versus just looking out for number one. You know, at first, it seemed like there was this unspoken rule, this code of honor. Pilots were being honest with each other. One guy even said, pilots got integrity. But then, one contestant decided to play the game differently. He pulled off this perfectly strategic lie, tricked his opponent, and proved that, hey, in this game, lying might just be the best way to win. And just like that, with that one lie, all the trust was gone. It just shattered. You can really hear the betrayal in this quote from another pilot. The game completely changed in that moment. It wasn't about character anymore. It became all about who was the best manipulator.
And as this challenge went on, the odds just got worse and worse. I mean, look at this. By the final round, there was only 1 jump pass left, but there were 6 eliminate cases. The vibe was just pure desperation at this point.
So after all those mind games up in the sky, the final 10 contestants made it back to Earth. And what was waiting for them? Well, it was the ultimate test of pure willpower. The rule for this one couldn't have been simpler or more brutal. The last person to take their hand off the jet wins it. That's it. Oh, and to make it even more of a spectacle, they did this whole thing on a major highway they shut down in Riyadh, Saudi Arabia, just out there for everyone to see.
The thing is, these contestants were just too stubborn. Hours went by, then a dozen hours. They just wouldn't quit. So the producers had to step in and make it harder. They kept adding these layers of pain. First, you had to stand up. Then you could only use 1 finger. And finally, you had to stand on 1 foot.
And this went on for over 22 hours. That's almost a full day of just complete physical and mental torture. Sleep deprivation was kicking in, and these people are balancing on 1 foot with just 1 finger touching a multi-million-dollar jet. It's just insane. And the toll this took was just immense. I mean, one contestant, a guy named Samuel, he pushed his body so far that he actually passed out. He said he just saw white and then fell. It really shows you the absolute human limit he was willing to hit for that prize.
And then there were 3. After a 22-hour-plus endurance battle from hell, you'd think it would be over, right? But nope, the game changed one last time. It went from a physical fight to a high-stakes social negotiation.
Here's the final twist, and it's a wild one. The last 3 contestants had just 60 minutes to unanimously decide who wins the jet. If they couldn't all agree, nobody wins. All of that pain, all that effort, it would have been for nothing.
Right away, a huge disagreement pops up. Even after struggling together for almost a full day, they were completely split. One guy, the competitor, wanted one last challenge to really earn the jet. But the other 2, they were exhausted. They just wanted to leave it all up to pure luck.
And as that clock ticked down, they just dug their heels in. 30 minutes went by, then 40. They were totally deadlocked, just arguing and getting nowhere. With only minutes left on the clock, it seriously looked like their own stubbornness was about to cost every single one of them the prize. It really makes you think, though, right? Put yourself in their shoes. After everything you've just been through, the pain, the exhaustion, the psychological games, do you risk it all on your own skills one last time? Or do you just give in and let fate decide? Finally, with just minutes to spare, the stalemate broke. The idea of one more skill challenge was off the table. They chose luck. They agreed to a simple game of chance. One of 3 briefcases held the key to the jet.
So in the end, after all that, the winner wasn't decided by strength, or by cunning, or even by endurance. It was decided by a group of exhausted people agreeing to just roll the dice. It kind of leaves you wondering, doesn't it? In a contest of physical power, psychological tricks, and sheer willpower, what does it really take to be the last one standing?